that they've been really using that as a lead measure for the metrics also. And again, just to speed the lead, what it was very common in our group was if someone did not respond as early as 15 minutes, it was opened up to the other individuals on the team to try to capture that lead. So it just did not, the lead just didn't go to one person. Brendan's in the group here now, if he wants to talk about how he, I liked the one part, Brendan, talk about your top 3 agents from the week prior.
Yeah, so we use CallFire, so it routes for all our inbound calls. It goes to our ISAs first. If they don't answer it, if they're all 4 of them on the phone, if they don't answer it within 3 rings, it goes to the agents. And then it's the top 6 agents from the previous week, the 3 agents that put the most under contract, and the 3 agents that put the most leads into the system. So we found that top 6 was kind of the balance, because if you just did just the top people that kept putting things under contract, then they got frustrated because then you couldn't get a shot, or gals. So that's been helpful. And then if they don't answer the call, then they're terminated from the program for, they're suspended for a month, and then if it happens again, we terminate them.
Wow. And Lisa uses e-alerts with buyers and sellers, if you want to expand on that also.
Can you bring a mic up?
So we do video texting for buyers, which has gone a long way for us. But the seller side is, we do the e-alerts is really for the sellers. We automatically do them on the buyer side, but what we just started doing is on the sellers, if I get all the seller leads, and if I can't reach them, I immediately, like, I'll go look at a property profile, and I'll look up the details of their house as close as I can get to it, and then I'll set them on an e-alert just like I would a buyer, what they're looking for, except this is for comparables for their home, and I literally put them on a drip so that they now, and in the subject line it says, it's a little bit different each time, but for the most part it says comparables. Do you want to know what your home's value is? Call Lisa Force at 951-302-1492 in the subject line. And then, so now they're just constantly getting that drip, and it says call Lisa Force, or call, sometimes I put Team Force, depends on what mood I'm in, if I don't want anybody to know my name.
Okay.
But that's fine.
Okay.
No one called me.
And Jeff brought up something with training the new agents. Jeff, you want to expand about if the leads are not, if someone's not getting hold of the lead, how it goes into a pool for your new agents for training the first 90 days?
Yeah, I have to. So the leads, if we don't get a hold of them, we don't use ISAs, and I know we had the big ISA training yesterday, but we use an on-call system with our agents, and then it's all the leads that come in for the morning shift or the night before for the morning shift, whatever the agents do not get a hold of, those leads automatically, they don't go to the agent that's on call, they go to the next agent that comes in that's on call. And if they don't get a hold of them, then the next agent, they're 3-hour shifts. So those leads just keep going for 72 hours. And if somebody after 3 days does not reach that person, then that lead goes into the fishing pond, to which they go in on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. All of our new agents for their first 90 days that work for us are required to work Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night doing the calls, because we like them to call at night. So, and that's their training. And how we've been training the agents, and this was Bob Corcoran's suggestion, I want to give Bob the credit for it. We are now training all of our new agents by FirePoint with all of the recordings of the calls. The agents have to come in, their protocols, they come in, they have to spend 2 hours a day, 3 days a week, listening to all the calls that are being done on our team, and then they go with their sales manager, Bert Jones, and then he monitors, or they talk about the calls, like what'd you catch the agents doing right, what did they do wrong, and so they're learning kind of by monitoring everything that's going on. And then we took one gal on our team, and she's actually listening to all the calls. Like, so it's just basically policing the system, and I got to give Bob the credit for bringing this up and basically holding our team accountable for it. So that's pretty much it, and it's about a conversion, right?
Outstanding, absolutely.
And we had someone else in the group hire a virtual assistant to actually listen to the phone calls for training also. So again, training with lead conversion.
Excellent. Man, good stuff. Hadar, how about you?
So I would say probably the most common three things that we heard kind of over and over, and that was structurally and follow-up boss. Joe had talked about the different buckets and how they manage those different buckets of leads and their priority of them. Courtney had, one of the things that Courtney said she's also doing structurally, they just started it, so they don't really know the outcome of it yet. But she said that they do their leads based on the highest producers. And that's something that I haven't heard for a long time, and actually is a pretty good go back to basic type thing. Tara has, and I'll let Tara elaborate a little bit on this. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Tara. About they do also the dialogue tech, and I'll let you kind of touch down on that.
Okay, about which part?
Well, about the monitoring the calls and going back to the basics with the bullpen.
Okay, gotcha. So we have opportunity time for our agents, and they're just in 2-hour increments, and kind of going back to the basics. It's just a bullpen landline phone in the office, which my 8-year-old daughter is fascinated with the landline. She has no clue. So
There's a cord.
yeah. So the agents are in there, and they have a 2-hour sign up, and they had first dib at all the leads, like their sign calls, Zillow. I mean, everything comes to that bullpen, and they have the first 5 minutes, and then after that, it's free game for anybody on the team. So it kind of creates a sense of urgency for the agents and a little bit of competition as well. So
The other thing Tara said that she did, and she said she doesn't necessarily recommend it, but it's been very helpful, is she actually moved her chair back into the bullpen. And while it has stopped a lot of probably chit chat, and she says she's got a few agents that are in their own offices, and she goes, those are typically the ones that are, everybody in the bullpen gets along very well. The ones in the offices are the ones that usually have the issues. And I was saying that I posted something on my Facebook page yesterday about make sure everybody on the boat is rowing at the same time, but also make sure that somebody's not drilling a hole in the boat while you're rowing. And so I thought that was really good. Also, the fact that we get all intrigued with all these programs, and yet sometimes we all have to go back to the basics. So that was. Ed, you want to talk a little bit about your videos?
Only a wife can get away with that.
It's like the worst
So
participant.
we,
It's on. Yeah, we can hear you.
so one of the things that we do, and I've been preaching this for years and years, and it's really simple. Somebody sends you a lead or they call in the office or something like that, and I don't care if you're walking out to the car, if you're eating lunch, or you're sitting in your office, something, pick up your phone and real quick do a video. Hi, this is Ed from Madden Real Estate. Hey, just saw that you called this. I'm just walking back into the office. Give me 5 minutes, I'll give you a call. Click. And what it does is it gives them a face. So when you call, they have the face there. It's simple. We've been talking about it for years. My thing is getting the agents to actually do it on a regular basis. And that's what we're doing right now is every week during our team meeting, everybody brings in the phone and we do videos to each other as practice. And it's funny. Everybody laughs. It's a riot because, and somebody say, hey, I'm a lead and I'm doing this, and give us a little scenario, and the other person picks up the phone and does a video and sends it to them, and then they play the video for everybody, and it's kind of hilarious, but at the same time, it's getting them just comfortable with doing video because video triggers responses.
Excellent. Very good nugget.
Ron had, one of the things Ron was really working on, he said, is he realized that his own sphere, his conversion rate had dropped down to, I think he said 12%. Ron, where are you? Where's that?
I'm over here.
Oh, there you are. And he was trying to get it up to, what, 29%? Or you got it up to 29%, right?
Yeah, we just we got busy, and I allowed it as a business owner to get down to 12% of our business was coming from past clients and Sphere, and it's pretty embarrassing. So we share it, so we don't do it anymore. And what our 5-year goal was to go up at least 5% per year. So now last year we're at 29.7, on our way to 40%, which I think is probably a healthy mix for us. So
Yeah.
it's just being honest with yourself.
So he went from 12 to 29%. And one thing that I couldn't think of the name of it, and I had to ask Tara on it, is HomeBot. is really good for your past clients. Who's using HomeBot? HomeBot is this awesome product, and it's like the best kept secret ever. It's really inexpensive. I had Jay Day set me up on one. Now I get it every month, and it goes out to your past clients, your people you've sold properties to, and it gives them an update of their equity in their house. It's amazing. I'm in a non-disclosure state, so I thought, oh, this is not going to work. It was pretty amazing, and every month they get basically this email that goes out. It tells them if they wanted to refinance, what that would look like, how much equity they have in the house, if they were going to rent it, what would that rent bring in, if they were going to do a Airbnb, what that would look for, and it's about their house. And the open rate, they have a less than 2% unsubscribe rate because everybody wants to know about their house. And a lender does have to participate. It's like, Lisa, what is it, $25 for every couple? It's dirt cheap.
500.
Yeah.
Thank you for every 500.
Yeah.
And then it's 200.
For the lender. You do have to have a lender involved. So that was the one thing I couldn't remember the name of the program. And then I'd say the last thing that I took out of this was we have to inspect what we expect. And we are also busy as rainmakers. I don't have time to keep my schedule, let alone keep after somebody else or 10 other people. And I think I'm at the point that I just need to hire someone to do that for me and then report back to me. If you can't do it, you need to be doing it because you got to hold those agents accountable.
Cool. So Craig, you had mentioned that Brennan would be a really good one to go deeper tomorrow on his system. Who in your group you think would be really good to go deeper on tomorrow?
I think Joe did a really good job of giving some information.
Manassa?
Joe, yes, Manassa.
Awesome.
And Tara and Ron also. I mean, everybody. The thing what we found was as we got to the back of the room or to the end of the room, a lot of it were repeats because we're kind of all doing the same thing. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Good. Amy. Amy Wienans.
Wienans?
And Wengard.
Right.
I got the two Amy W's on the stage together. So
We
we're
often get emails that are Yes, we do. the one.
and both coaching with Bob, so Bob's emails go back and forth to both of them.
I'm like, oh, wrong numbers, wrong person. No.
Thankfully, you're all doing great. That's the good thing.
It's all good. Anyway, so I had an awesome group of people in our group. Lots of good stuff. Common theme, obviously, is speed to lead, biggest key. Accountability, and lots of different measures of accountability. Justin's got a great system for accountability with his agents on how many texts, how many phone calls, how many email follow-ups that the agent has to do, and it's all tracked through a system called, is it called Follow-Up Box or something?
Follow-up boss.
Follow-Up Boss? Okay, that's what he's using. We're going to get that. Anyway, but we had a ton of accountability. Lance Loken talked about he pays someone just to manage all of his ISAs to keep accountability, to make sure that they're tracking and converting. And Lance, I think this is okay. He said he pays the person that is doing the kind of the system checks on everything and overseeing everything like $50,000 a year. And he said it's an amazing rate of return. So just tracking that accountability, also training and empowering agents with statistics and numbers so they feel confident that they convert when they do get the opportunity. And then also strategically tracking things with personality profiling. We do a little bit of that like on the seller side of it. Like we're always just, we're matching it personality to personality. Not near as much on the buy side. On the buy side, we're much more round robin. But we talked about, just the basics, going back to the basics again. Quick responses, good energy, good information. And I think that both Justin and Lance have got great things to drill down on that farther tomorrow.
Okay, excellent. Amy.
Okay, overall to sum it up, speed to lead, a great ISA team, and as Tiffany said, pick up the damn phone.
Yes.
Yeah, that helped her conversions. For me personally, adding accountability amongst the team was huge, and we've spent a lot of time focusing on that. Thanks to Bob drilling that into me, that I needed to spend a lot of time focusing on that. They're calling each other out on missed reminders or calls, and they truly want each other to succeed. So that's huge when it doesn't have to come from me, and it's coming from them, and I can just step back and do something else. So that's great. I was in a group of amazing conversion people. John with an 87% seller conversion rate. Oh, no. Chip said, what? I'm at 97.3. I knew you were going to call me out on that, so I got your 0.3.
Then again, aren't 67% of statistics made up on the spot? They are.
0.3. Got you. I got you. Now, buyer conversion rate, on average, is between 4 to 5%, so, which is good. No complaints on that. 5-minute response time, ISAs, a tip that one of the ISAs would say is when they would call a client, how's that for fast? That would be their first introductory line when the seller or buyer would pick up the phone. So having great ISAs and incentivizing them for their conversion rates. I think somebody gave their ISA a $5,000 bonus. John gave them a $5,000 bonus. It was a good deal. Yeah, it was worth it. Video, again, like we've been listening or hearing, listing partners are sending out videos after the appointment is set to introduce themselves and let them know they're excited to meet them, and then again following up again before the appointment to confirm. They're always checking the lead source, so where did this lead come from, and resending that to the buyer or the seller. So for example, if it was a Barbara Corcoran lead, they are sending them the Barbara video just to reinforce, that's where they came from, so reinforce that message. Obviously Marty Hampton coming soon. She has an amazing program for that, and it's not just the site and the program, but when she is signing them up, she is putting a sign in the yard right after the appointment. She has door knockers with her, so she's putting door knockers on all the neighbors' homes. She's doing an open house only for the neighbors, which I thought was fantastic. So about an hour prior to the first open house, she's inviting only the neighbors to come preview the home, because again, those are future sellers, so brilliant. For those out of production, using listing and buyer videos from the Rainmaker so that they can still have that face and be a part of the transaction, and also making sure that the message is consistent. That was a big problem with some of the listing partners going out, and the message starts to get a little muddied and not extremely consistent. So the Rainmaker is putting out a video that basically touches on all the points that they want to make sure get spoken. AJ, for all the home evaluation sites where you only have the address, he had ISAs put together a list. I'm sorry, say it again?
VAs did.
Thank you. The VA put together a list of people that were in, you can just say whatever this is. People put together a list of all the home evaluation sites where you have the address. If there are similar people in a neighborhood, then they are canvassing that neighborhood and walking the neighborhood.
Yeah, we
Please
just
elaborate.
we had the virtual assistant basically go through thousands of these address-only leads and then find groupings of them that were all within a couple of miles of each other. And then we would give our outside agents a batch where we would say, here's 12 or 15 or 20 homes all within a concentrated little area who've requested a home evaluation, but we haven't really done anything with it. And so they would show up on the doorstep and they would jokingly say, hi, I'm your online home evaluation. And they'd get a laugh, and then, it actually resulted in a fair amount of business. So it was a good blitz.
Kind of what I said, right? I was circling around it. John, nope, sorry, I lost my place here. Go down here. Fred, I think, would be one we can focus on digging in deeper. Fred had lots of systems in place and lots of things we had never heard of that he uses for drip campaigns and following up and conversion. John shared with us a seller lead site called Lead Optics, OPTIX. No referral fees or setup fees. He just started using this, so he's not quite sure of the results yet, but he's very intrigued by that so far. Let's see, what else do we have here? Zillow live transfers, Tiffany was talking about this. So don't assign the Zillow live transfers to your ISA since they are often on the phone, but have agents take shifts to answer the calls, and her answer rate has doubled by doing this. Also, she expanded on the fact that if a Zillow call comes in and the property is pending, she still sets the appointment to show the house. And if I'm messing this up, please correct me. And then after they hang up, they are calling the buyer back and letting them know it's pending, but please open your email and you'll see 4 other homes that are similar, and which ones would you like to go see? Because the appointment's already been set, so you know that that time works for them. I thought that was a great idea. And of course, viral videos as a way to stay in contact with your current database and past clients. That is it.
Hey, can I add something quick? Frank Leo, character. If his agents and his team doesn't show up to their meeting, he gives them the week off.
Such a nice guy.
I mean, he's sitting there, he goes, I'm training them. I'm not going to deliver the same message 10 times. I have an expectation, which I think as rainmakers, it's the hardest thing to do is that accountability piece. Yeah. Bob knows I struggle on that. But what he said, if they don't show up, he goes, they could say they're sick, whatever. That's fine. You've got the week off. I thought that was awesome.
I love this. I still want to give you a fist bump right now.
I know. You know that. Lisa, that's exactly what I did. I walked over to him and gave him a fist bump.
I love it.
Love it. All right, Rick.
Sure. Well, I feel like the old, to tell the truth, I'm ABW. Oh, no, okay. Okay. Maybe it was funny in my mind. Okay, maybe not. So okay, good. Thank you. So we had a bunch of thoroughbreds here. Speed to lead was one of the things, that was the first thing that came out, and the first person said 5 minutes, and then someone else, 2 minutes, and then 30 seconds was kind of the answer that we settled on. So speed to lead is important. Roman does some things, sending out a CMA and also 3 different sites, Realtor.com, Zillow, and Redfin as sites as to what they say that the home is worth. He also does a lot with video texting, which tends to get people a little bit more information or get them to respond a little bit better. Matt had a great program. He calls, text, emails, and then a couple hours later, call, text, email, and then at the end of the day. So 9 contacts that first day, followed up by the next morning by 10 a.m., another call, text, email. So 12 attempts. They do not leave messages on those other phone calls, but they do reach out to them. And if their buyer agent has not updated any notes, that lead is taken away and it goes to the ISA team. Many of the people had kind of a maximum that they would allow their buyer agent team to keep. 100 leads maximum, and then they go into the ISA for follow-up. Brian, if there's a mic runner, I'd like him to kind of elaborate a little bit on what he was talking about with his LexisNexis and follow-up. He had some great systems and a little stalker-like, but very productive. So.
Yeah, it was basically we just, we've been using this for a while, but we've now implemented it with every lead that we get in. The moment we make a phone call, while we're doing the phone call, we will look the person up on LexisNexis and get emails, friends, families, all those things. We'll drop all the friends and family emails into a Facebook retargeted campaign, just so whenever they get home, they see their friends, they see their coworkers, that they're reiterating our message to them covertly. And then we go one step further to try and create just that little extra bit. And it's great for leads that come in with just an email or just a phone number or just a name. I did Reagan's here, and his name and city, and I got everything.
Including the dogs.
Including the dogs.
No.
Wow.
No, but it gets a great piece of information, and if you don't want to go and just jump right into it and spend that kind of money for, I think it's like $360 a month. If you don't want to spend that money right up front, download on your phone. It's called Ben Verified, and it gives you 90% of what Nexus gives you, and I think it's $60 a year. So my ISA agents actually like the Ben Verified because it's quick. They don't have to be at a computer, but it works. Ben, B-E-E-N, verified. And it's an app, or you can do it on a computer, either or. And I think it's $60, $70 a year.
Excellent, thank you. The Elliott team does a great job with confirming appointments. They say that we've got a free buyer handbook for you if you'll show up to our office tomorrow. The ISA team just sets an appointment for them to come into the office, and the free buyer handbook is a little bit of marketing material, maybe a glossary of some terms, blank page, wants and needs in a house, and some information on a title company and lender. So pretty simple, but sounded fantastic, and really increased their conversion rate on people showing up. Rob Kittle does a great job with using his ISA team and creating a stickiness for the buyer agents. The agent that is on call that day, that lead is assigned to them, and the ISA will then follow up on that person. He's said that a lot of people, the buyer agents, their skill set is to show houses, not necessarily to follow up after the first day, second week. But if that person is buying 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 2 years from now, the longer that person's on his team, the bigger their pipeline gets of all the people. If they leave his team, they miss out on all those hundreds of leads that they have there. Steven sends an instantaneous auto text and email, and also the goal is to try to call immediately, no more than 5 minutes. Brian also had a great, the schools that send out messages, text messages about what's going on with your kids and so on. If you can go in and purchase a phone number that's very similar to that, people will pick up that phone number. So that's kind of a cheap way to get people to pick up. Very stalker-like. I like it. It's impressive. Rob was saying that whenever the call comes in, to go ahead and call them. So rather than it's 11 o'clock at night, is that appropriate to call or not? Obviously, they've registered, they're expecting a phone call, so go ahead and do that. Elliott team, one of the things they do is they send a text saying when would be a good time to call, and we had a great discussion on that. Just go ahead and call or ask for a time to call. Both seem to get a lot of great information there. And some of them had that the lead goes to both the buyer agent and the ISA. So they're getting followed up multiple times.
Excellent.
So great stuff.
I have a couple things that I'd like to add. I think it was Tracy and Tigo that talked about the Zillow training their agents or ISAs to ask the questions like they do for Zillow. And can somebody give them a mic and they can explain it better than I can?
Well, after a lot of us in this room were at the Premier Agent event where they announced that they were going to do the direct handoff, and we all got together in Wilm's room and talked about it. And so what we're doing when we get those calls, first off, we're doing the direct. They're skipping the ISAs like somebody said. And that's working much better to convert those. And it's a jump ball. It's whoever picks up the phone first. But also that whole, what is it called? I forgot.
The reviews that you get at
the rating, right?
The rating.
You got to get 90. If you best of Zillow, right? If you get 90 or above, and blah blah blah. So what we're doing, because what they'll do is the next time that person goes on the Zillow site, they said, "How did they do?"
Right.
They
question the consumer.
So we ask the consumers, like, did I answer all your questions? Is there anything else I can help you with? Would you say this was a 5-star? If Zillow asks you, is there anything else you need? So when they
I think that's a great idea, not just for Zillow, but for any of them.
For any of them. Anything to that?
Yeah.
Just that we train them to do it on all of it now because we're getting reviewed everywhere.
Yeah.
Not just Zillow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was a great idea.
And so when that came out,
Lead follows up, ends up passing it to the buyer, and then the ISA is following up not only as the sales manager tracking accountability, hey, how's on how things are going. Then there's the double, the ISA saying, hey, I handed this off. Where are we at with that? So I think just that strong accountability piece, we're going to do that. An ISA meeting, again, we're going to do that. I was looking at me. Yeah. So I just thought that was a real
down in your book.
Yeah.
As an action item.
Yeah, that's an action item. So literally, I thought that was brilliant because the ISA nurtures it, and then they hand it off, and they're paid. They're paid on the success, and they're wondering what's going on. And I think there's more accountability to the agent when the ISA is, sitting down meeting with them every week. So I don't know. I thought that was great.
That's awesome. So give these guys a hand. Hold on one second. So they went rapid fire, covered a lot. I think there must have been about 50, 60 nuggets, all wrapped up into 30 minutes. Any questions? You have something you heard that you say, you know what, could you repeat that, or could you go deeper on that? I know our brains are probably fried by now, but Matt, hold on one second. We got a mic coming. I just don't want this to leave without clarity for you guys.
So I know Structurally's out there. I'm just curious, what does Structurally do? It sounds like that was a big weapon for a lot of people.
Who could best describe? Robbie? Yeah. Hold on one second. Let the mic come.
So long story short, Structurally is conversational AI. And really what it's doing is it's having conversations with leads, and they have, I think it's 50,000 banked responses, and what it's doing is it's collectively learning and always getting better, which is why it's AI. So the whole goal is to take the conversation and turn it into what they call agent ready. So what it does is it has a conversation and basically greens light for your agent. So if you don't have an ISA, frankly, this thing can be your ISA, and I think a lot of teams that have started using it have had some major success with it. So is that a good way? People that are using it, is that how you describe it? Cool.
Can I just add one thing to that? Only because I was actually afraid of the AI. I'm that person. I'm like, oh, I don't want a robot talking to my clients. Oh my God, it's the coolest thing ever. Like it makes spelling. It's funny. It makes spelling errors and it immediately corrects itself. I say, oh, I'm sorry, I meant this. And I'm like, holy crap. I mean, it sounds like a human being. It's the coolest thing.
We had one that almost asked him out for a date.
So Robbie, I know you're big on making 200 phone calls. Are you setting Structurally up and calling?
So in our world, we're in a place with having 5 full-time monster ISAs, and we started using Structurally. We were one of the first people to get on the bandwagon because we wanted to find something that would help us convert our leads that we called 200 times, and we didn't want to invest our time in anymore because that goes into what we call our compost pile. It's basically our junk, right? And again, I brought that up yesterday. A compost pile, you put crap in a pile, it becomes better crap. So what we did was we started using Structurally. Yeah, a couple of y'all got that finally. So we started using Structurally. Yeah, Midwest people get it. Farmers. Anyways, we gave it to Structurally, and within a week, it identified an opportunity that was a double ender that would have slipped through the cracks. And again, it doesn't get tired. It doesn't mess up. And as she had said, they've intentionally put mistakes in there because human beings make mistakes. You accidentally send a text with a misspelled word because that's human. And someone had joked about it. The thing gets flirted with all the time. I happen to be really good friends with Nate and Andrew, who are the co-founders, and these guys are next level nerds, which is why we get along so well. And they have hired some programmers that are doing next level stuff. So it's really cool.
Awesome. Very cool. Good. Everybody's brain fried today? Yeah. Well, I totally understand. Listen, you guys had an awesome day today. Give these guys a hand. So tomorrow, if it's okay, for just the